What was responsible for the loss of Saul's kingship? What was responsible? What is the problem? What was the cause that was responsible why Saul lost his rulership? Number one, personality without spirituality. Personality without spirituality. Saul was the man with a container without a content. He was a man with a container without a content. Personality without spirituality. Construction without foundation. The highest description of Saul was his physical personality. He was tall, handsome, looking good. There was minimal, if any, description of his spirituality. Sir, it is not wrong to have personality. It is an error to lack spirituality. It is not wrong to have personality. It is an error to lack spirituality. It is not wrong to look fine. It is not wrong to wear woman hair. It is not wrong to take care of yourself. It is not wrong to dress well. But it is an error to lack spirituality. Your spiritual roots is what determine your destiny fruits. Your spiritual roots is what determine your destiny fruits. No matter what you do all you can to deepen your spiritual roots. No matter what you do all things to deepen your spiritual fruits. You cannot compare the description of David to Saul. David was the man that wrote 90% of the book of Psalms. Whatever you do, pay attention to your spirituality. Pay attention to your spiritual roots. When your activity, your work, supersede your spirituality, calamity is inevitable. When your daily hustling supersede your spirituality, calamity cannot be escaped. When your hustling, your business hustling, your daily routine supersede your spirituality, you cannot escape calamity. This is what happened to Samson. Throughout the book of Judges, Samson only prayed twice in his life. First, when he was hungry. Second, when they have taken off his eyes. Don't allow the pressure of the world supersede your spirituality. Number one, personality without spirituality. Two, the lack of passion for God's presence. The lack of passion for God's presence. Saul was such a man that was comfortable to exist without God's presence. He was such a man that was comfortable without the presence of God. We also saw David's passion for God's presence in Psalm 63 verses 1 and 2. Psalm 63 verses 1 and 2. Oh God, you are my God. I earnestly search for you. My soul thirsts for you. My whole body longs for you. In this, I have seen you in your sanctuary. For the 20 years of Saul's reign, the ark of God was not available. For the 20 years of his reign, the ark of God was not available. He felt God's presence was not needed. The question this morning, how far can you go without God? How far can you go without God? The worst thing that could happen to anybody is to be comfortable in life without God. The worst thing that could happen to anybody is to be comfortable without God. The worst thing that could happen to any church or pastor is to be pastoring a divine presenceless church. We have seen so many churches in Nigeria Choir is perfect. Protocol is good. Usher is solid. Teaching is excellent. Preaching is perfect. Divine presence, zero. You remember Moses in Exodus 33, 14 to 15. Exodus 33, 14 to 15. He said, Lord, if you will not go with me, I am going nowhere. How can you have a future without his presence? Many are so comfortable without the presence of God. Number 3, stepping out of his calling and office. Stepping out of his calling and office. Anytime you step out of your office and calling, you lose charge of your destiny. Anytime you step out of your office and calling, you lose charge of your destiny. Saul was in the front of a battle. Samuel asked him to wait for him, that he will come back within 7 days. He claimed he waited for Samuel for 7 days, but Samuel did not come. If you check 1 Samuel chapter 13, 8 to 12, 1 Samuel 13, 8 to 12, you will find that story. In the Old Testament, there were 3 offices: the office of the king, the office of the priests, and the office of the prophets. The office of the priest was reserved for the Levites, except for those that step into it, like David. Saul left his own office of king and stepped into the office of a priest. When it is not your calling, it is always a struggle to fulfill it. When it is not your calling, it is always a struggle to fulfill it. And when you struggle to fulfill it, a calling that is not yours, you lose your calling in life. When you struggle to fulfill a call that is not yours, you lose your destiny. We have seen so many. They are called to be a teacher. Overnight, they become a prophet. They are called to be a teacher. Overnight, they want to be a deliverance minister. When you step out of your calling, you step out of your covering. When you step out of your calling, you step out of your covering. Face your call. Face your call. Billy Graham, one of the most popular evangelists, never saw one healing. Never prayed for anybody for healing in all his life. Yet, he had the biggest crusade in the world without any healing. Check the Google, find out. Billy Graham never spoke in tongues, but he believed in the gift of tongues. But he never spoke in one. Stay in your office. Stay in your calling. Don't look at it that somebody is succeeding in this, then you abandon your own office or call. The glory only follows God's pattern. The glory only follows God's pattern. Moses followed the pattern and the glory fell. Many are looking for his glory outside of his plan. Many are looking for his glory outside of his plan. What we see in this ministry is a testament of a man that stayed on his call. Number 4, impatient with God. Impatient with divine instruction. Impatient with God. Impatient with divine instruction. Many people run out of patience with God and run into problem. Many run out of patience and run into problem with God. 1 Samuel chapter 13, 8 to 10. 1 Samuel 13, 8 to 10. We saw where Saul waited for 7 days for Samuel. And Samuel had instructed him earlier. In 1 Samuel 13, 10 to 12. 1 Samuel 13, 10 to 12. Just as Saul was finishing with the burnt offering, Samuel arrived. In 2 Kings chapter 5 verse 14, 2 Kings chapter 5 verse 14, when God asked Naaman to dip himself into the Jordan 7 times, at the 6th time, the leprosy was still there. Most time, Papa might give you instruction, fast for 7 days. That does not mean on the 3rd day or 5th day, that miracle will happen. It is possible before the expiration of the 7th day, the things will happen. Every time you become impatient with God, you settle for alternative. Every time you become impatient with God, you settle for alternative. And when you settle for the alternative, you establish a situation durable for a lifetime. When you settle for the alternative, you establish a situation durable for a lifetime. As Father Abraham, the impatient of Abraham gave him a miracle called Ishmael. That miracle is fighting the promise today. I want to announce to someone, the lateness of God is more profitable than the fastness of man. The lateness of God is more profitable than the fastness of man. 10 people in this house, you are about to have the best results before the end of this year. How many of you watched the Super Falcon? 2-0 first half. I went to bed in anger. I could not eat. I was broken. But in my sleep, I had goal. I had another goal. That's nothing happened from January to July. Be prepared for a comeback. The remaining days of this year will be the best of your life. When you watch that football, it tells you what God can do. It tells you what Jehovah can do. The lateness of God is more profitable for the fatness of man. When you look at the Bible, your January to July might be small, but the remaining one will be bigger, will be bigger, will be bigger. Prophetic word don't make sense. It only makes faith. What is faith? Faith is hearing the word, believing the word, acting on the word in order to receive the promised outcome of the word. I prophesy to someone here this morning, your year will be crowned with fatness. Your year will be crowned with fatness. Your year will be crowned with fatness. In the name of Jesus. God is preparing that miracle. He's preparing it. The same way you prepare Indomie, you don't prepare special fried rice. Indomie takes a minute to done, but fried rice takes time. So your God is preparing your miracle because it's bigger. Because it's bigger. Number 5. Lack of value for the voice of God. Lack of value for the voice of God. Lack of value for divine instruction. Everybody can go as far as they are willingly to hear God. Everybody can go as far as they are willingly to hear God. The growth in this ministry is as a result of the voice of God. Your destiny cannot go beyond to which you are ready to hear God. The voice of God is behind the making of men. The voice of God is behind the making of men. Get out of your father's house. That was what made Abraham in Genesis chapter 12 verse 1. Do not go to Egypt. That was what made Isaac in Genesis chapter 26 verse 2. Every time you run out of his voice, you run out of destiny. Every time you run out of his voice, you run out of destiny. The world is not permitted to hear a man who does not hear from God. The world is not permitted to hear a man who does not hear God. It is connection to his voice that makes a man a voice. It is connection to his voice that makes a man a voice. You are a voice to the extent you are in touch with his voice. You will remain a voice to the extent you are in touch with his voice. Where your obedience stops is where God's involvement stops. Where your obedience stops is where God's involvement stops. God is involved with a man as long as the man will obey his voice. God is involved with a man as long as the man will obey his word. It is possible to do good things, but until you do his voice, you have not done the right thing. It is possible to do good things. Until you do his voice, you have not done the right thing. Number 6, addition to woman opinion. Addition to woman opinion. Valuing the opinion of people above the voice of God. Valuing the opinion of the people above the voice of God. 1 Samuel 15 verse 21. 1 Samuel 15:21. Then my troops brought in the best of the sheep, goats, cattle, and plunder to sacrifice to the Lord your God in Gilgal. When you overmind people, you lose destiny. When you overmind people, you lose destiny. When